Look at the sheer volume of water moving across the Indian subcontinent, and you'll notice a strict geographic rule. Gravity pulls the vast majority of its great rivers east, dragging them down into the Bay of Bengal. The Mahi River ignores that rule completely. Rising in the Vindhya Mountains, it drives west toward the Arabian Sea, joining a very small club of rebellious waterways, like the Narmada and the Tapi. What makes it a true anomaly is its relationship to global latitude. This diagram maps western India, bisected by the Tropic of Cancer. The river flows north through Madhya Pradesh, crossing the line once, then hooks southwest through Gujarat, crossing it a second time. A river flowing backward against the continent's tilt, while intersecting a major latitudinal boundary twice, creates a highly specific physical environment, one that has dictated human settlement here for thousands of years. To the people living along these banks, this geography is highly spiritual. The water is worshipped as a living entity, known locally as Mahi Mata. In the ancient texts of the Puranas, the river is directly tied to the reincarnation of Princess Kumari, her intense physical penance manifested into the river itself. Because of this divine origin, the water is believed to contain the spiritual weight of all tirthas, every sacred pilgrimage site in Hinduism. Bathing in its currents offers a path to complete spiritual liberation. As the river widens out over the plains, it stretches so far toward the horizon, locals gave it a new name, Mahisagar, literally an ocean. For centuries, it functioned purely as a natural refuge, feeding the land and absolving the faithful well before the arrival of concrete and turbines. But water is leverage. As the Mahi exits the quiet Vindhya Mountains, it crashes into densely populated, heavily industrialized zones. Modern India's demand for reliable agricultural irrigation and massive hydroelectric power quickly outpaced ancient reverence. Engineers locked down the basin with the Mahi Bajaj Sagar Dam. This massive 140-megawatt structure swallowed the natural valley, completely reshaping the local geography into a massive reservoir complex, now called the City of 100 Islands. Downstream, the pressure continues. The Kadana Dam intercepts the flow for flood control, followed tightly by the Wanakbori weir, which siphons water directly into 8 thermal power units. The untamed sacred stream has been caught, measured, and systematically transformed into a mechanized utility. Now, the Inland Waterways Authority of India is pushing the ultimate phase of commercialization, turning the river itself into a heavy freight highway. This satellite layout details National Waterway 66. It targets a 246-kilometer stretch through Gujarat for massive inland shipping. The plan caters to coastal industries building pactive jetties along these banks, allowing corporations to bypass overland logistics at a fraction of the cost. This final stretch strips away the last remnants of wild geography, entirely subjecting the river to a global supply chain. But an extensively tampered river always reacts. The aggressive damming traps silt upstream, causing severe shallowing where the river meets the Arabian Sea at the Gulf of Kambat. Simultaneously, because the natural flow is choked off, the actual riverbed in multiple regions is sinking. It has dropped so low that nearby farmers can no longer use it for basic irrigation. You cannot subject millions of tons of moving water to this level of structural friction without something eventually breaking. That friction culminated violently when the Gambhira Bridge, spanning the Mahisagar in Gujarat, completely collapsed. Infrastructure failed against the very environment it was built to cross, sending an entire section of road plunging into the water and killing 9 people. We have spent the last 50 years successfully extracting power and profit from the Mahi Basin, but this tragedy proves a hard limit. If we continue to ignore the physical stress we are placing on the environment, the water that built Western India will eventually tear it down.